Hey everyone, how y'all doing today? So welcome back to another meta guide. So we are in the Willpower Cup. So the Willpower Cup will begin tomorrow, and it's going to be, well, you can see pretty much the typing. It's going to be Psychic, Dark, and Fighting types. Those are going to be eligible, and it is a Great League meta, so something to keep in mind. We've had this meta before, so very cool to see it back. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and dive right into it and see what we got going on for us. So for the S rank, we do have the bulky Mandibuzz. Definitely going to be a really strong Pokemon in this meta. I mean, at the end of the day, it just could take hits for days, right? You all know that. It could just take hit after hit after hit. And it's just such a fantastic Pokemon all in all. Next up, we have Drapion, or the Shadow version of Drapion. Now, for me personally, I love the Shadow version of Drapion. That's the one I prefer. Even though I don't have the best one for the Great League, I still recommend the Shadow one if you have it. If you don't have it, you can go with the regular one. And then we have Hisuian Quillfish. Hisuian Quillfish gets to the move so fast with Poison Sting. We see it on the regular Quillfish. Same thing for the Hisuian one. Just gets to the moves really, really fast. Super strong Pokemon in this meta. I think it's going to do really well. And then we have Cresselia. So Cresselia is an interesting one, right? Because obviously it's weak to all the Dark attacks. And there's so many Dark types in this meta, right? It's one of the eligible typings. But Cresselia can fight back. It does have Moonblast. And plus, if it gets on a good matchup, that's going to obviously be really good for it. It just could be a little bit tricky to run, I guess. But I still think it's going to be really good in this meta. And then we have Overcool, which is Hisuian Quillfish's evolution. This one does not have... It does not have Poison Sting. It has Poison Jab. So if you're getting up against one of the fairies, you're going to be doing really well. And of course, those fairies are also Psychic types. That's why they're eligible. But yeah, you're going to be doing really well with this Pokemon. I mean, I could imagine maybe someone going in with a Hisuian Quillfish plus an Overcool backline, ABB style, could be really strong in this meta. Then we have Clado. Clado's going to do really well against all the Poison types, right? And all the Poison types are Dark types because... Poison is not eligible, but Dark is, so the Poison Darks are eligible. But Mudslap Claydol, we've seen this do incredible in the Psychic Cup, right? It's going to do incredible here because the Mudslap is going to be doing super effective damage. Obviously, there's some matchups you can't handle, like the Galarian Moltres, Amandibuzz. But even if you're on a neutral matchup, you'll be doing okay. But maybe you'll get on a super effective matchup. I think a lot of people are going to be running Claydol in this meta for sure to try and counter all the Poison Dark types. Moving on to the A rank, we do have Skuntank, or the Shadow version of Skuntank. Poison Jab, Crunch, Trailblaze. Obviously, you can go for Trailblaze if you want to boost your Poison Jab damage. And Crunch does have a chance to lower the opponent's defense. Really, really good stuff. Then we have Galarian... Why'd I blank on the name? Rapidash. Galarian Rapidash. This one had a community day recently, and PvPoke actually does recommend Wild Charge. So Body Slam Wild Charge with Fairy Wind, which is pretty interesting to run Wild Charge. I mean, if you have one, more power to you. You could definitely build it. But I think Play Rough would be fine as well. There's a lot of Dark types. Even in the Dark Poison types, it's going to be neutral damage. Wild Charge is neutral as well. Yeah, I mean, Mega Horn could be okay. I mean, it really depends. You probably don't want Mega Horn in this matchup, but I would say either Wild Charge or Play Rough probably going to be really good. And then definitely Body Slam, because Body Slam is really spammy. It was nerfed this season, and it does affect it. Lickitung is pretty much nowhere to be seen in the Open Great League, so it does matter. But yeah, when it comes to this Pokemon, I think Body Slam definitely is a great bait move. And then we have Hatterene. So this Pokemon has Charm, everyone's favorite moveset, right? So Charm, it's you know what? It's actually going to be pretty good. I mean, if it could, because here's the thing. Well, as we've already mentioned, all the Poison types are also Dark types in this meta, right? So if you go on to run of them, as long as you're not up against one of the ones that has Poison Jab, for example, Skuntank, or Overquill, you're doing neutral damage. You can actually do well against, like, the Drapion, for example, right? Especially if it's a Shadow Drapion, you're just going to be able to chunk away a Charm. You do have to shield the Crunch, obviously. Crunch is going to hurt. Probably could take one, but I don't know the stats for Hatterene, so I'm not positive on that. But either way, yeah, the Charm is just going to be really good. Look how many things are weak to it, right? You know, so many Dark types. Look on the board, right? You know, Guzzlord, Umbreon, Sableye, Eradicate, Galarian Moltres, Annihilate, Primeape, and even the ones that are taking neutral damage from it, like the Poison Dogs, right? So, just such a good Pokemon. But next up, Annihilate. So, Annihilate was nerfed last season, or it was nerfed this season, which does affect it. But the thing is, like, with the Community Day, you want to run Rage Power. Now, I am recording this ahead of time. This is before we had the community day. But you definitely want Rage Power, so counter Rage Power. And then it's a ghost move, so you don't need Shadow Ball. You probably go with Close Combat, to be honest. Yeah, and I think that could be a pretty good moveset. Now, I think PV Pokey, if I'm not mistaken, you could double check. I think he recommends the Shadow version of Annihilate. That doesn't mean the regular one's not good. If you have the regular one, more power to you. It could actually be really good. But that one's a little bit higher ranked, the Shadow one, I think. Just doing so much damage, though, because the counter damage was not nerfed. Just the time it takes to get to the moves, you know. And then Galarian Moltres, of course, Galarian Moltres, going to be pretty good. It's going to do really well against, well, the Psychic-type Pokemon, right? So it's funny, because, like, the Psychic-type Pokemon are doing... like the Fairy types are doing super effective damage towards the Moltres, but the Moltres is also doing super effective damage. I guess neutral damage, right? Because they're Psychic Fairy types, so Fairy is going to resist Sucker Punch, and then Psychic is weak to Sucker Punch, so yeah, neutral damage. But you'll go down faster than they'll go down. But yeah, it could be pretty good. Obviously, it's going to do well against the Claydol. The Dark types are going to resist the damage, though. That's the only thing. But you know, I think it's going to do pretty well. And then we have Primeape. So Primeape does have Karate Chop, and I believe that is a legacy move. So if you have the Shadow one, if you want to Elite Fast TM it, more power to you. I have to double check if that's actually legacy. It's got to be legacy. I feel like I would know if it's not legacy. But yeah, I mean, Rage Power, you could definitely get Rage Fist. I called it Rage Power, but Rage Fist on this Pokemon as well during Community Day, which is really exciting. Yeah, I mean, do it in Annihilate Primate backline, which would be pretty cool. And then we have the Alolan Grimer, which could do really well as well. I think it will. It does need to be XL'd. I have to check, because I know I have enough XLs. I just don't know if I have a good one that I would want to invest in. I probably won't invest in it since I'm already Legend, but if I wasn't and it was that good, I probably would build it. But moving on to the B rank, we have Guzzlord. We have a couple Darks. I love using Guzzlord so much. So I would definitely recommend you to use Dragon Claw, Brutal Swing, because here's the thing. Sludge Bomb will do well against what? Only the Fairy types, you know, for the most part. And it's non-stab. You're better off having the stab moves. If you go up against a Dark type, you have the Dragon Claw. If you go up against something that's weak to Brutal Swing, like Claydol, for example, you have the Brutal Swing or Cresselia. So yeah, really strong Pokemon for sure. I guess you could go Crunch, but Brutal Swing just got updated this season. I feel like it's better. And then we have Umbreon, another tank. You know, I think Mandibuzz is definitely going to be better, but Umbreon, not a bad one. And then we have it's gonna do well. It's gonna wall the Dark energy from all of the Dark Pokemon that we see. And then we have Sableye. You can go with the Purified or the Shadow one, I guess. I personally I feel like I like the Purified one in this meta. Return is going to hit like a truck against most things, against anything pretty much. And then we have Alolan Raticate, another pretty bulky one. We have Machamp. So Machamp is a double legacy Pokemon with Karate Chop and Stone Edge. Of course, you could run Rock Slide instead of Stone Edge. It was nerfed, but it's still not bad on the Shadow Machamp. And you get to the Cross Chop so fast for sure. Could be pretty fun to run. I'll probably be trying that Pokemon out this season or this meta. And then we have Greninja. So Greninja, obviously we've seen Greninja multiple times. And it's just a fun Pokemon to use. Just keep it away. It's really squishy, so it really can't take hits. But yeah, just keep it away from Pokemon that it does not want to see, right? Like the Fairy types for sure. Moving on to the other options, we do have Slowbro. Okay, Slowbro does have Water Gun. It has Scald, I think. And then it also has Surf, but I know Surf was nerfed. It takes longer to get to. But yeah, a Pokemon we probably won't see too much of just because it is really weak to all the Dark-type Pokemon. We have Ponyard, Alolan Muk. Okay, another Dark Poison type that could see play. You could either run it with Snarl or you could run it with Poison Jab. I think both moves are relevant. It really depends on your team. Machoke, just better fighting options that we have, but Machoke is one that you might see here or there. I just feel like there's better poison options. And then Morpeko. Oh, Morpeko's a lot of fun. So Morpeko, we know the mechanic with Morpeko, right? It has Aura Wheel and it changes like appearance after it uses an attack. It gets to the moves really, really fast. So it's actually a fun Pokemon to use, but it is a difficult one to use. It's really, really squishy. It can't take hits well, but it does tremendous amounts of damage. I mean, this thing really benefits from having an energy advantage, but it also benefits from having shield advantage as well. So something that you probably would keep in the back, and then maybe try and get some sort of advantage, because obviously if you're going up against like a dark type like Mandibuzz, you want the electric Aura Wheel as well. You don't want the dark type, because then you have Psychic Fangs and the dark Aura Wheel, which will not do much to the Mandibuzz, for example, right? Or any dark type for that matter. And then moving on, we do have Victini. Okay, so Victini could be a lot of fun with Quick Attack. V-Create is really powerful, right? And then we have Zweilous, Dragon Breath user. Pangoro, another fighting type. Okay, but it's also weak to the fighting types that you'll see, like Annihilate, Primeape, and Machamp. So again, I feel like we have better options over Pangoro. But and then we have Sneasler. Sneasler could be a lot of fun in this meta. Spiritomb has Sucker Punch. I don't think it's going to see play that often, to be honest. But pretty cool nonetheless that it got Sucker Punch. So Sucker Punch, we know how good it is. If you're using a Sucker Punch user, you're probably using Galarian, Galarian Moltres, but if you have one. I know it could be difficult to get. And then we have Malamar. Malamar has Psywave, which is amazing this meta. And then it also has Superpower, which will do neutral damage to the Poison Dark types, but it also has Foul Play, which is going to be resisted by a lot. I don't think I'll see a lot of play. Just too many Pokemon that either don't want to, or either that Malamar doesn't want to see some Pokemon, but even if it sees those Pokemon, it's just not going to have a great matchup all in all. I feel like Malamar's probably going to sit this one out, but we'll see. And then we have Toxicroak. So Toxicroak, of course, counter was nerfed, but you can go with Poison Jab as well. So that could be useful for you. Moving on to the solid team options. So for the first team, I have Double Fighting with Annihilate. Annihilate counter Rage Fist. Remember, Rage Fist on both Annihilate and Primeape. And then again, I probably would go Close Combat on the Annihilate. As for the Primeape, well, it has Ice Punch, it has Cross Chop, whichever move you really want. It also has Night Slash. Probably don't want Night Slash. But then we have okay, so the backline is going to hate Fairy, right? We have Hisuian Quillfish. Hisuian Quillfish has Poison Sting. You could go with Overcool as well, which has Poison Jab, which will just do a lot of damage with the fast moves. So you could go either one you want. And that's going to be for the Fairy types. Although technically you're taking neutral damage from Fairy attacks with the Hisuian Quillfish. So if you want to go one of the other ones like Overquill or even the Alolan Grimer, you could probably do that. Next up we have Double Fairy. So we have Hatterene with Charm, and then obviously the Galarian Rapidash, and then we have Claydol in the lead. The backline's not going to appreciate poison types at all, right? So Claydol is going to absolutely love to mud slap all those poison types. Next up we have Triple Dark. We have Galarian Moltres in the lead, not going to like, what is it not going to like? It's not going to like Fairy types, right? Obviously. So for example, mainly the Charm user, because against Rapidash, you're doing neutral damage. They are doing super effective damage with Fairy Wind, so that's something to keep in mind. But the Rapidash is so squishy that you're still going to be doing a good amount of damage with Sucker Punch, right? And then you could probably fight back and win that matchup. It really depends if they bait. They probably will bait with Body Slam, but that's up to you if you want to call it. So at least you have some play there. And then we have Drapion. I think Shadow Drapion is a great safe swap, and the one I would go with as a safe swap if you're going with this team. And then Skunk Tank as well. So the backline generally will do well against Fairies. Now, usually Drapions do not carry Sludge Bomb. I would still charge up for the Sludge Bomb even if you're not running it against the Fairy type. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go Sludge Bomb instead of Aqua Tail, more power to you. I'd probably still go Crunch Aqua Tail. But yeah, I mean, unless you remove Crunch, but that would be pretty wild. I know there's a lot of things that resist Crunch, so, but there's also a lot of things that I guess resist Poison. It's up to you. I'd probably go Aqua Tail Crunch. Moving on to another team, we have Cresselia in the lead. Cresselia is not going to like at all those dark attacks. However, it could fight back with Moonblast, right? So definitely want Moonblast, Grass Knot in this meta. And then we have Annihilate. So Annihilate, obviously counter Rage Fist, actually going to be really good. It's crazy that they're updating Annihilate when they just nerfed it, but we'll see if it has impacts in like the Open Great League and everything like that. By the time this video comes out, maybe we'll know that already. I don't know. I'm recording this ahead of time. And then I have the Hisui, not the Hisuian one, the Alolan Grimer in the back for a Poison type. So you are ABA strong to fighting types, for example. Well, not really. No, I guess not. I mean, the Grimer's taking neutral damage. Annihilate does do well against fighting types, unless if it's opposing Annihilate, because then it's just a neutral matchup. And then you know how you used to have to bait Shadow Ball. Now you don't even have to bait Shadow Ball against opposing Annihilate, right? You just go straight Rage Fist, because Rage Fist, it's gonna be the fastest charging move you get to. I think it takes 6 counters. In the old format, it would have taken 5, but it's gonna take 6 counters to get to Rage Fist. Shadow Ball took 8 before. Now it's 9, I think. But yeah, it's gonna be really good. I mean, Annihilate's coming back. And then we have another team, another triple dark team. We do have the Overquill in the lead with Poison Jab, and then double dark. So obviously the backline cannot go anywhere near those fairy types. I guess Sableye is doing super effective damage, but with Shadow Claw. But you're taking a lot with like Charms, so something to keep in mind. Obviously, Guzzlord wants no part of it, especially if you're not running Select Bomb, right? But yeah, Guzzlord wants no part of those fairy types, but Overcool does. So even though you take neutral from fairies, you still doing super effective damage with your Poison Jab attacks. And then the final team is going to be Mandibuzz in the lead with a safe swap of Galarian Rapidash. I think Galarian Rapidash is a pretty good safe swap in this meta. Well, decent. We'll have to see. But obviously, it's going to hate poison types, right? So Clado is going to come in handy to handle those poison types, hopefully. But anyway, these are going to be the teams for the Willpower Cup. Let me know what team you plan on running, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.